Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ plus community.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, April 16th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine's Happening Out television network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of the LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fête in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus community and the broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ plus community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Rex Rogosch. Rex Rogosch is a visionary designer with over 30 years of experience in product design, interior design, and architecture. You need to come to my house, Rex. Also known in the drag community as International Lords. Rex recently returned to performing, and we couldn't be happier. As president and co-founder of Lantera, he champions mental health awareness through vibrant, inclusive events. Rex, so Broward House, Dining Out for Life is April 24th. Tell me what's happening.
On Thursday, April 24th, residents of Broward County are invited to take part in Dining Out for Life's Dine Out End HIV initiative, hosted by Broward House. The initiative encourages people to dine at participating local restaurants, where a percentage of each bill will be donated to Broward House. The funds raised will support the organization's health and wellness programs, which serves communities in Broward County most affected by HIV and AIDS. The event offers a simple yet impactful way to support people and public health, just by enjoying a meal out. To find a participating restaurant near you, visit browardhouse.org/DOFL. Join the movement and help make a difference one meal at a time. I mean, who doesn't love eating?
Right people. Going to the right people.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I love Dining Out for Life. I love Broward House. I mean, they, went through a very traumatic experience with their flooding, and, they're back open. So this is a really great way to help them keep moving forward. Yeah. They are the oldest housing organization in Broward. And also what I love about this is also gets you out into the community, and you can go to either your favorite restaurant or pick a restaurant you've never been to before and experience something new. And it also supports local businesses, which are typically small businesses, which we also need to do. So it's a multi-layered community event that benefits everybody.
Win-win-win,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
I got to give a big shout out to Jana Jaffe. I love that little shorty. I mean, she is like 4 foot nothing, but if you ever talk to her, she will talk you into some stuff. All right, she will make sure that you will volunteer and help out. I love Broward House. What they do, like you said, Rex, about house insecurity, home insecurity, they really do help our community with that. But they're also big helpers when it comes to addiction issues, right? And I know a lot of people that have gone through Broward House and comment that they wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for Broward House. So, like Rex said, maybe start off in the morning at Over Easy Cafe if that's where you usually go have breakfast, right? Or go to Java Joe's because they're also a part of it, right? But most of the places that you usually love to eat at are part of dining out for life. So go to Rosie's, go to Eagle. Hey, go to Tulio's, go to Spencer's, go to The Well, go to Java Joe's, go to Hunter's, go to Dolce Salato. You can go to any of these places that are on your usual to-do list or to eat list, and you'll be helping Broward House. So how cool is that?
Very cool.
Add me to that list. I love to get A. But this sounds like an incredible event. I love to eat. I love to shove it down. And these are places that I patronize? That I patron regularly.
Yeah.
I'm always at Java Joe's. If you ever want to see me in full boy eating a blueberry muffin that they usually bake fresh there, and it's so delicious with the double shot of espresso in the morning, go to Java Joe's. Go to all these venues and do it for a good cause.
And Dining Out for Life has been around a really long time, and they've tied in with other really wonderful organizations over many years. So.
One of the great ways that she had mentioned is that they're also local businesses. So let's support local.
Yep.
A lot of those are my chamber members, and we've amplified them, and we've shared out, come visit, come do Broward and go eat, because again, who doesn't like to eat? We're all gay in the context of food and drink.
And we're all big inside.
Yes. In the context of food and drink, it's all great.
Yeah.
But a lot of those are also chamber members, so we get to amplify our local businesses even better. So
Isn't that
just another opportunity.
100%, Jason. I mean, I'm constantly screaming from this chair saying we've got to support BIPOC.
Yeah.
We've got to support mom and pop places. We've got to support LGBTQ plus places. And what a wonderful way to do it, and on this day. So thank you, Broward House. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Broward House Dining Out for Life on April 24th. Next up, my friend, Jason Nunez. So Jason is a trailblazing leader, passionate entrepreneur, and fierce advocate for equality. As president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce, Jason champions inclusivity and economic empowerment for marginalized communities. A third-generation minority Air Force veteran, he has served at the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department, and Department of Labor. So Jason, the GFLGLCC second annual Spring Garden Party with your husband is on April 26th. Tell me what's happening.
Okay, that was a secret. But learn more. The Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce is set to host the second annual Spring Garden Party on Saturday, April 26th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Islands Inn on the Drive in Wilton Manors. The evening promises elegance, community, and unforgettable entertainment. The event will honor 4 local changemakers. Holy Cross Health receives the Champion Award for Corporate Engagement. Ina Lee, president of Travel Host Media Group, is recognized for community impact. Florida State Senator Dr. Barbara Sharif earns the Public Service Award. And the GFLGLCC Hero Award goes to beloved entertainer Sean Kitty Meow Palacios. Hosted by the fabulous Jamil Luna, She Ready. The party features a Sear Wheel performance by Luke Duloc, a fashion show by Tops and Bottoms Men's Boutique, and headlined performance by American Idol and my husband, David Hernandez. Tickets are available at gogayfortlauderdale.com. So this is my first signature event as the president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce.
Are you nervous?
So I'm super excited. I'm not nervous because I have a very supportive community. We have gotten a great response, both from our community. The talent has literally come to us and want to be a part of this second annual Spring Garden Party, and I could not be more proud. I'm super excited. I'm kind of ready for it to be over just to kind of see what the reaction is from everybody in our community as well as how it executes. I'm very confident. I'm not losing sleep over it, and I'm excited to see every single one of you there. And as an added bonus, if you're watching Queer News Tonight, go use promo code QNT25, and you'll get a discount on your ticket.
Ooh, I love that. So QNT25. Queer News Tonight 25.
Correct.
Right? And you will get a discount off your ticket. I love that.
But kudos to you for producing such a fabulous event. I mean, the lineup is amazing.
Yeah.
The awards are so varied and so inclusive.
Inclusive, right? Go figure, right?
And then doing Sean, one of my oldest and dearest friends. I think it's fantastic. So really, felicidades.
Y'all go down in the comments and say thank you to Mr. Handsome Jason right here for that coupon. Because the fact that y'all get a discount just watching this show, that is lovely. Also, you and your husband. Y'all ever seen two fine people together? Well, me and my husband. We ever see another fine couple together?
Me and my wife.
It's not about you, but like, y'all say thank you in the comments to this handsome man right here.
Slide into David Hernandez DM.
Let him know what's up. Yeah, just say thank you to your husband. Jason's hot.
Right? And look, and let me say, I love that the awards are called change makers, right? Because that's so specific as to like the times that we're in, you know? Ina Lee, that woman is iconic.
Absolutely.
Okay? She is in everything. It don't matter what she's doing. She always finds the time to be an incredible ally, always at our events doing the damn thing, right? Making South Florida the travel destination that it is, right? So thank you, Ina, for that. Holy Cross, they're celebrating 25 years of just services to our community and being in Wilton Manors, right? So that's wonderful of you, and you know, and tops and bottoms. Can I tell you the guy's name, the owner of the place? It's Sebastian Nathaniel. Nathaniel is hot. You need to make him your other husband.
Maybe that's the other.
If David Hernandez falls through, Nathaniel, Bobby. Nathaniel,
maybe a throuple.
He is gorgeous. And also the clothes at Tops and Bottoms is just phenomenal. So you'll really enjoy that fashion show as well. So kudos to you, Jason. Fantastic.
Congratulations.
This is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the GFLGLCC second annual Spring Garden Party on April 26th. Next up, let's welcome the diva herself, anchor Bonnie Builder. She's the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the forever reigning Mixed Mary's Wilton Manors. Bonnie Builder, the Bodybuilder Bootycamp is coming on April 27th. You gotta tell me about this because I want to get a butt like Bonnie Builder.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Fitness and flair will collide on Sunday, April 27th at this booty camp run by none other than moi. It is a unique workout experience hosted at Pride Lines, taking place from 10 to 11 a.m. with doors opening at 9:45 a.m. This high-energy fitness event is open to adults aged 18 and above. The booty camp promises intense lower body workouts, personalized training, and a welcoming, affirming atmosphere. Whether participants are beginners or seasoned gym goers like myself, they can expect expert guidance and serious motivation, all served with a splash of glam, baby. General admission is priced at just $25. The event aims to blend physical wellness with community spirit, reinforcing Pride Line's mission to create safe, empowering spaces for LGBTQ+ individuals. With music pumping, laughter echoing, and glutes burning, Bonnie Builder Bootycamp is all set to turn Sunday morning into a celebration of strength, self-love, and sweat. So, this event, much like my drag persona, came from the depths of my mind. I was like, I have a bachelor's degree in physical education, and drag is like my main thing. So how do I combine both? A drag queen-led fitness class. I always said I wanted to be like the drag
Jane
version.
Fonda?
Better, Shanti.
Oh, yes!
With his fine ass. So I was like, how do I build this up? And I just came up with this idea out of literally just in my mind. I had the first Bonnie Builder Booty Camp a few weeks ago at Rhythm and Release in Miami Shores. Thank you all so much for believing in me. And now I reached out to Pride Lines and they were like, yeah, bring your gay ass up in here. So I'm looking to build this event up more and more, have it everywhere, do it to whoever will have me. But it is April 27th, just $25, 1 hour. And I promise you, the reviews that I got immediately after class, people were mad at me because their asses were on fire.
Nice.
And it was no weights. If you've ever seen my Instagram, you know my ass is real. And you know that shit sit up and tight. And so y'all better come to the Bonnie Builder Booty Camp.
The triple B.
Yeah. Listen, 22 years in the military, I dreaded working out because, you know, they make you. But this might actually be something I want to go to.
Yes.
So I'll see you there.
I will be there with short shorts and leg warmers.
Shorts
and leg warmers.
If you ever wanted to work out in your gay attire, but you can't take it to the LA Fitness because it's a little bit too much, bring your shortest shorts. I want your ass cheeks hanging out. I want glitter on your eyelids. I want I can't say that word. Be a queen. Be a queen when you come to the workout with me, the bodybuilder booty camp. It will be worth it.
Okay, be you, right? Basically, just be you. I love that. And I love that you're creating that special space. I bet you there's a ton of people watching that are like, man, I'd love to wear my shortest shorts to whatever gym they go to, right? And like, they're like, oh, let me tame it down a little bit. For your booty camp thing, you don't gotta. Come as you are.
Booty's out.
With
Booty's
whatever
out.
you want.
18 and out. That's like be you, but no BO. Please wear deodorant when you come to my class. I will say something.
Sure. Be you, but no BO.
Put it right there.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Bodybuilders Booty Camp on April 27th. Next up, let's welcome my brother from another mother. He's anchor Dale Stine. He's a celebrated photographer in the LGBTQ plus community. He is also the director of music ministry at the world famous, it's world famous because I go there, Unity on the Bay, and a moderator of Miami Gay List. So Dale, our Fund Foundation presents the Stonewall Bridge on April 25th. Tell me what's happening.
A special reception and presentation titled The Stonewall Bridge, Building Care and Equity Across Queer Generations will take place on Friday, April 25th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. This event, hosted in partnership with Stonewall, the Our Fund, and Trees FI, invites the community to explore how LGBTQ plus generations can be connected through innovative intergenerational care. Held by New York's Stonewall Community Development Corporation, the evening will spotlight the Stonewall Bridge, a pioneering aging-in-place program aimed at improving the quality of life for LGBTQ older adults while fostering inclusive, supportive neighborhoods. Executive Director Paul Nagel and Director David Nunez will lead the presentation, sharing how the initiative is helping build a lasting legacy for queer youth by honoring and supporting elders in the community. For more details, RSVP via email to mthomas@theourfund.org. Well, I think this is a wonderful event because bridging the gaps between generations, especially now, I think is so important. And as an older out gay person,
older.
I think it's
You said it. I just read what you said.
I said it. You don't need to rub it in. I don't need you to be rubbing. No, I think it's so important that because I think, when I was a young gay many decades ago, I learned from my elders. And I think it's so important for the young people now to know what we fought for. And even though we're fighting for it again, we fought for it already many times. And here we are again. So I kind of got off on a thing, but that's what it makes me think about, because I think that's what the importance of in this moment, that we need to really come together. We really need to be intergenerational together in this fight.
We have to. Yeah. We have to. Big shout out going out to the Our Fund Foundation.
Absolutely.
David Jobin.
Amazing.
David, you're an incredible human being. Everybody tells you that. I'm not trying to smoke, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your booty, but you're amazing. Okay. Whenever cuts have happened or grants have been frozen, David Jobin comes to save the day wherever he can, So when it comes to this, I agree with you, Dale. Like, we've got to bridge that gap between LGBTQ plus youth and our elders. The reality is that our LGBTQ history is being erased every single day. And if we don't pass those stories along, then what? Then where are these kids getting that comfort and that education that they need? They have to get it from their elders. And Our Fund is doing just that. That's beautiful.
Well, and I think it's a learning moment too, because a lot of us, when we were young, we didn't think we were going to be old, right? And we thought 30 was old, and then 40 was old. And now I'm hitting, 50. 50's, the new 20. And I think it's important.
I love that.
Look, I'm 51 years young, and I think that the young community needs to know, because they're going to be in our position one day. And so if they learn from those experiences, not only learning the history, but then learning, okay, I need to create the history as well and pass it on. So it's a learning experience for those younger people to go, hey, I might need this help one day. I'm not going to live forever.
Right. And at the same time, I do believe that me as an elder, or anybody who in whichever generation you're older, need to be listening to what the Gen Z and even younger people are saying, because the struggles that are now are so different than the struggles that were.
Yeah, Dale, I thank you for building the table that I'm able to sit at now. I didn't come out till about 8 years ago. And in part, that was because I was kind of suppressed in the military and couldn't be my true and authentic self. So thank you for building the table that I felt comfortable sitting at. And now we need to let these youngins know, or let us know, I'm still young, let the youngins know why they're at the table and how that table was built. And that they need to now build upon it. What goes on the table? How do we reinforce the table? And this is a perfect event to make that happen.
Yep. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Our Fund Foundation's The Stonewall Bridge on April 25th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, a television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out, the FayWhat Show. Faye, ArtsUnited celebrates 26 years with Glamorous Dining with the Divas event on April 30th. Tell me, what's happening?
Yes, I will, Rex. So ArtsUnited is marking its 26th anniversary with a vibrant celebration dinner and fundraiser titled Dining with the Divas on Wednesday, April 30th at 7 p.m. The event will take place at world-famous Aquaplex, Fort Lauderdale. If you have not been to Aquaplex, what are you waiting for? All right, it's incredible. So it'll be featuring a dazzling show, a delectable 3-course dinner, and a cash bar. Local performers Victor Zepka, Joshua Justin, and Jeffrey Roach, love you, Jeffrey, will take the stage, while community leaders Don Darminio, Mark Moderana, and Joe Pallant, who are always doing so much for our community, will be honored for their incredible work advancing equality in the arts. Reservations are required. General tickets are $75, $85 after April 23rd, and VIP tickets, which include premium seating and a complimentary drink, are $100. For more details, that can be found at ArtsUnitedFlorida.com. You know, I'm not telling you anything you guys don't know, that the arts were so affected, and they have been for the last couple of years. And what Dennis Dean is doing over there at Arts United is just incredible. They're trying to make sure that the arts are there for future generations to come. You know, he just took over as CEO maybe a year ago, and he's doing great things. And they do this fundraiser once a year. Before it was at Lips, and now it's at Aquaplex. And so you could be a part of this incredible fundraiser. They always grab people from community and drag them up and put them in drag as best they can, you know, and then they also honor folks like Don Darminio, Mark Moderano, Joe Pallant, that do so much, that are just incredible entrepreneurs, and, you know, put their money where their mouth is, and, you know, support our community in so many different ways. So this event looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see and just being in that realm of community. Our community leaders are really stepping up. When things out of Washington, things out of Tallahassee are against us, we have our local leaders who are staunch supporters of who they are, who we are, and support our path forward. So yes, Don Darminio, amazing. Really looking forward to this event.
Look, Don Darminio's our commissioner.
Yeah.
And whenever, and that man, he's got 100 different places to be every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
You best believe that he makes it a point to get to your event, right? And say hello. And he's so humble and approachable, you know? And I mean, and that's how leaders should be. I know that I'm surprised by it, but I am, you know? So, I mean, just, you know, to spotlight, to give people their flowers while they're here instead of when they're past, right? I love this. You know, Joe Pallant doesn't miss a gala. That man is always at the table, happy as hell. Like, yeah, let's do this, you know? So this is incredible.
And we saw Velvet's face on that flyer, correct?
Yeah.
Lenore. If you want to give somebody their flowers, make sure you give Velvet her flowers. That diva has done so much for this community and has looked glamorous the entire time. The family that she's built is just incredible.
And to your point, you know, arts have been, you know, whittled away in schools and communities for years now, and art for many of us were our first ways of expressing ourselves. And so this is a really important cause to go help and keep alive. So that is our big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Dining with the Divas on April 30th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up breaking news. Trump sues Maine over trans students in school sports. Trump-appointed Attorney General Pam Bondi announced this morning that the Justice Department is filing a lawsuit against the state of Maine for the refusal to ban transgender athletes from women's sports. The lawsuit claims that Maine's policy violates Title IX protections for women, citing the declaration by the Trump administration that transgender identities are invalid. Anti-transgender activist Riley Gaines and parents of Maine who oppose transgender inclusion in sports for the announcement. Bondi and the Trump administration had previously sent warning letters to Maine, California, and Minnesota about their transgender inclusive policies, ordering them to comply with federal anti-discrimination laws that require them to keep men out of men's sports. Here's a video.
The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. Pretty basic stuff. This is a violation of Title IX. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety. I've met many of these women throughout the past weeks and months, and what they have been through is horrific. We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about. We have repeatedly notified Maine of its infractions and urged them to remedy the situation to protect women. We've stripped grants from Maine through other departments, and we are going to continue to fight for women.
We, the Department of Education, analyzed Maine's Education Department for compliance with Title IX. Our investigation has found that Maine continues to willfully violate Title IX and to strip the civil rights of female athletes in the state. And as Pam alluded as well, it's not just about their civil rights, it's about their safety.
Yeah, okay, their safety. Ms. Bondi, you don't represent me or any woman that I know. Let's start there, okay? Trans women are women. Let's also state that for a fact, okay? How many trans athletes are actually trying to play in sports? About 10.
Total
in the whole country, all right? And that is who you're targeting, okay? Because they're the lowest hanging fruit. Right? But it's disgusting. I read an article the other day about them not allowing a transgender person to play in a billiard tournament. Okay? Billiard. How is that even matter what gender you are when it comes to playing pool? You know, this is just the absurdities that are coming out. We're protecting women. And that's how they frame it for you, right? So for people that are misinformed and people that think that Trump is the end all and be all, they say, oh no, they're trying to protect women. Oh no, that's what they're doing. There's men, big men playing in women's sports. That is not the case. That is not happening. These are the same people that think that people are going into elementary schools and doing conversions on kids because they want to be trans. You know what I mean? Like, this is not happening. It's just incredible.
And this is the same. These are the same people that wanted to get rid of the Department of Education to let it up to the states. Right. This is the same. These are the same people that are passing a law that will negate voting rights for most women. So how is this like? They're talking out both sides of their mouth. And she said that what they've been going through is horrific. What the horrific stuff they've been going through is probably the masses of training that some of these, you know, how many coaches have we had indicted because they've abused women?
Yes, the other day this guy just pulled a ponytail, yanked the girl's ponytail. I mean, come on, that's just like something that they do.
Right, and that goes on for years. Yeah. It wasn't the trans woman who caused the trauma. It was the coaches. It was the schools. I mean, we need to focus on the real things, and this is just another diversion tactic.
Yeah. And she knows she sounds stupid saying all that stuff. She knows she sounds stupid in that ill-fitting suit that did nothing for her bust line. She knows. That's why she kept pausing. She was like, every time she paused, she was like, this is so fucking stupid. And they're recording this, right? Anywho, and the girl that was twacked out behind it, Chad, please. Anyway, trans people, please know that we have your back. You are protected. We are sending behind you and beside you. We understand the challenges that you're going through. We can never be actually in your shoes, but understand that we love you and we appreciate you. This foolishness right here, they're using you as a scapegoat. And please do not succumb to the foolishness that they are doing. Because you may think that they are many in number, but mama, there's more of us than there is of them. Some of them are us and they just won't say it. But please understand that we got your back. Babies, okay? Do them sports and win too.
And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up politics. Colorado signs law protecting marriage equality. Marriage equality is now officially protected by law in Colorado. Governor Jared Polis signed a new bill this week repealing the state's long-standing ban on same-sex marriage, language that had been on the books for nearly 2 decades. The irony of the moment is not lost on Queer News Tonight. Polis, the nation's first openly gay elected governor, signed Senate Bill 25-014, also known as the Protecting the Freedom to Marry Act. The bill removes language from Colorado's statute defining marriage solely as a union between one man and one woman. Governor Polis said, quote, "Colorado is for everyone, no matter who you are or who you love. This is a long overdue step in the right direction, and today's law I'm signing ensures that Coloradians can marry who they love in our Colorado for all," end quote. Colorado voters originally passed a same-sex marriage ban in 2006. That ban was nullified by the U.S. Supreme Court's Obergefell versus Hodges decision in 2015. But in 2024, folks from Colorado overwhelmingly chose to repeal the discriminatory provision, with 63% voting in favor, with rising concern that Obergefell could one day be overturned, especially as 9 states have recently urged the Supreme Court to revisit the decision. Colorado lawmakers say this new law offers critical protection. Democratic State Senator Jesse Danielson, who introduced the bill, said, quote, "The freedom to marry who we love is a fundamental right. It's especially important now, as the Trump administration attacks the LGBTQ community to ensure everyone's right to live safely in our state and marry whomever they love. For LGBTQ Coloradans, this is more than policy, it's personal," end quote. Thank you so much, Colorado.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Colorado. Okay. We need other states to follow suit. All right. And thank you, Governor Polis, for being an openly gay man, and being able to sign that bill must have been monumental in your feeling. For us to watch it was incredible. You know, I mean, it's not a secret to anybody that many of us got really comfortable with same-sex marriage, right? You know,
otherwise known as marriage,
which should just be called marriage, by the way.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
You know, and these fools that say things like, "Oh, you know, we let gays get married, and that means you can marry a dog." You're disgusting individuals for even saying things like that. All right. Colorado knows what's up. Hey, they legalized weed before most people did. All right. So they must be smarter than most. All right. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is what other states need to follow suit with, because this is what's going to happen. They're going to make it that it's down to the states.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, many of us who are married, I mean, that will be affected by something like this passing. I mean, those people that are like, they're not coming for your marriage. Look at this. They really are coming for our marriage. And Colorado has taken steps toward not allowing them for the people who live there.
And there are other states that are talking about doing the same thing, right? I mean, it's not, this is, and of course, I don't want to fear it, but I think, okay, well, are they going to come for the states now too, the way they're doing with Maine for, you know, protecting trans rights? I mean, it's such a scary time, but this is a really, really positive step and a powerful step.
I think that, you know, you made a point. You know, this administration wants the states to make choices when it's beneficial for them, and they want to put in basically martial law when it benefits them. So it really makes it very confusing for everybody. I mean, we are called the United States of America, so you would think that we would be united, but we're more divided than everything.
We are the divided states of America.
And it's really hard to think that, you know, we have a national law that protects marriage. We're going to call it marriage, but it's still up to the states to then go behind it and protect it more. And so when you're living in a state that's, you know, kind of on the fence, you're like, well, am I going to wake up tomorrow and not be legally married and protected to the person that I love and care for on a daily basis?
And it's scary. It's scary. I've been married with my wife 8 years. Dale, you sang at my wedding, right? You know, we have an autistic son. If something were to happen to my wife tomorrow, there's a high probability with something like this passing that I wouldn't be able to take care of our son, because I'm not officially his mom. You know what I mean? Like things like that now me and Teresa have to go run and get certain paperwork in place to make sure that if that happens, we're taken care of, because that's the fears that we have. And that's the fears that many people in our community have. It's not fair.
And unfortunately, in some states, even if you have that paperwork in place, direct family members can still contest it.
100.
And so that doesn't,
100%.
you know,
100%.
that paperwork's.
But these are things that we shouldn't be worried about. There's so many bigger fish to fry right now, you know?
And as someone who's not ever been married yet, I sit here and go, am I ever going to be able to? You know, I'm with someone I love, and that's the next step that I know. But the writing's on the wall that it could not happen. And so, you know,
Actually, yeah. My friends Jorge and Hector expedited their marriage process. They're celebrating their whatever in Tokyo right now. Hi guys, what up? But yeah, they like pushed their wedding like forward because they're like, we don't know if we'll have the ability to do this sooner. So they got married with the quickness. It was a beautiful wedding. I didn't go, but it was a beautiful wedding, and that was because they didn't know if the legislation was gonna like attack them for their ability to get married. So you people that I already know are hate writing in the comments right below us right now. I know, just stop typing. Thank you for the views, but just realize this is all about love. We just want to be with the people that we love, and then some other people as well. But at the core of it, it's all about love. So just let people fall in love and get married and make friends on the side.
Yeah, Bonnie, so I'm not married to David Hernandez, just to put that out there.
Yet.
I know.
Oh, wait.
Wow.
What if you propose right now?
But my real husband, yes, I've been married 8 years, and that was a time where we could rejoice and be together. And I tell you that when this second election happened, and especially after the abortion rights were taken away, I literally looked at him and I was like, are we not going to be married tomorrow? Like, who knows what they're going to do? It's just the attacks coming out of Washington, Tallahassee, that are really putting our community on edge. But Bonnie, like you said, we're here. We're beside each other. We're behind each other. We are a community. We stand together. And let's move forward.
Yeah, 100%, because they want us to fail. They want us to get tired of fighting. They want us to forget our intention. They're like, they keep on throwing all these things at us so we don't look at the bigger picture.
Absolutely. I want to talk about domestic terrorism. Let's talk about that.
Hello. Hello.
Instilling fear in others domestically within our border. Let's talk about that.
There's so much insanity in all of it. It just makes me crazy, and I'm such a news junkie that I know I shouldn't be, but I always tell people I would have more anxiety if I didn't watch the news, because I need to know what's going on. But you know, it's just like, don't these people, I'll refer to them as these people, understand that there are gays and lesbians and bisexuals and trans and things in their families, in their communities, in their lives? So what are you trying what are you achieving? What is the goal? What is the end result? What is it? What are you so afraid of?
Control.
I mean, I'm making rhetorical I'm just putting, you can answer all you want. I'm just putting those questions out there because it's like, WTF, what is the real purpose of this? It's a fear, and it just drives me crazy.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story, and let's queer up the USA view. Religion is protected by the GOP until churches defend LGBTQ. The GOP playbook against the LGBTQ community has used freedom of religion as a core argument. But what happens when the faith community supports LGBTQ civil rights? What happens when the church is LGBTQ-centric? More than 150 violent and hateful incidents have targeted LGBTQ-affirming faith communities across the United States since June 2022. And new data from GLAAD's Alert Desk shows that the number is still climbing. The report released Tuesday paints a chilling picture of how extremists are attacking not only queer people, but also the churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples that welcome them. These incidents include death threats, vandalism, arson attempts, physical assaults, and bomb threats. In just the last year, the number of documented attacks jumped from 60 to 151. Among those attacked is Bishop Marian Edgar Budde, the Episcopal leader in Washington, D.C., after she called for mercy for LGBTQ people and immigrants during the National Prayer Service sermon. Then, President Donald Trump demanded an apology. He has no place to demand anything, but Budde refused. She later shared that she received death threats and what she called death wishes. Still, she said queer communities responded with gratitude and strength. In New Jersey, the First Congregational United Church of Christ was threatened with being burned down after the false claims from Moms of Liberty. Connecticut's Emmanuel Congregational Church was vandalized days before its prized event. And in Michigan, a man was arrested last year for plotting mass violence against queer people and inclusive religious spaces. As right-winged rhetoric escalates, GLAAD urges everyone who witnesses anti-LGBTQ threats to report them to their alert desk. Because in this political climate, religious freedom is protected until it stands with queer people. Okay. I've said this a million times. Violence is not for anybody. It should not ever get to violence. And just because you don't understand something doesn't mean you should turn to violence. And in this climate, I think that is the first go-to that everybody is doing. People don't understand religion. They don't understand how religion and LGBTQ can coincide because they've been brainwashed by a book that was written a million years ago
and translated
and
a million times.
Exactly.
By many people.
By many people.
I love the parts where they say what Jesus said and they weren't there.
Well, trust me.
Leave us alone in the garden. They weren't there. This is what he said.
And I've had my problems with organized religion for most of my life, but I have in my heart of hearts that, religion was there to preach good. And, and we are now finally seeing religion paired and saying, you know what, you are accepted here, and you're welcomed. But now we still have people that are like, no, that's not my religion. You're not my religion. So we're going to burn you down. That just is.
Yeah.
I can't, it doesn't make sense to me.
Religion has taken a front seat recently so much, right? Yes. The whole division of church and state doesn't even freaking exist, right? Unless you're not Christian. Right? That's the thing, right? Like, it's all well and good if you're religious and Catholic, but if you're anything else, then there's an issue, right? And if you support LGBTQ, then there's an issue, Me and Dale are part of Unity on the Bay. He's a staff member at Unity on the Bay. Unity on the Bay is predominantly Black, brown, and queer. That's what we are, right? We have a bold, incredible minister who wants to be bold and incredible, right? He wants to do Trans Day of Visibility because he's never done it. Which we did because he'd never done it, right? Because that was part of our community that he had not directed, right?
And he is gay, by the way, married and has a child. So our senior minister is, and more than half of our staff is gay. So.
And we're also at a Jewish temple.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to, and because of these reasons, we have security outside for every single event, every single church service that we have. We have to, because we want to make sure that our congregants are safe and they feel safe. But we shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to go to church and there be a cop there in the front, And again, it has to wash over us that right now we're at a queer church. Sunshine Cathedral, literally, #myqueerchurch is a queer church led by queer bishops, who are incredible. Love you, Darrell. Love you, Robert. And they were targeted last year. They were vandalized last year, and they've had to take certain measures to also make sure that their congregants are safe, And, this is the world that we're living in right now, that it's like, if you support our community, you might be threatened to this degree. And let's talk about Bishop Buddy. All right. That woman is incredible. Incredible. Shiro, little woman, right? And like they're in front of Donald Trump.
Gentle.
Right? Gentle. I could even say almost frail to a degree, and she's there in front of all those people and did not mince words and took her platform moment to say, please have mercy on people.
Yep. And nationally.
She didn't say anything horrible. No. She didn't say you're a disgusting piece of shit that should stop tanning.
Right.
She didn't say anything like that.
And
yet she got death threats.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I mean, come on.
But look at history. Look at how many wars have been fought in the name of a God or a religion. I mean,
almost all of them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up in a Methodist church, so I've been around church my whole life. But of course, I've worked now on staff for almost 12 years, and I've lived what we would call maybe a spiritual life. And we're very fortunate that we have chosen to be in a spiritual community where God embraces all, as an existence, as an entity, as all of us. We're one. There is no guilt. There is no shame. That's the kind of religion I'm proud to be a part of. The kind that includes, that loves, that embraces joy, peace, harmony, all the positivity you can think of. And that's not what the majority of it is, though, I'm sad to say.
A religion that brings love instead of hurt or fear.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was about to say. This is based in fear. This has nothing to do about religion. This is people that are afraid and don't understand something, and so they lash out.
And I'm going to add, the people who attack these churches, I'm assuming are God-fearing. Just picture this. Hold my hand and picture this. They die. They go to the heaven that they believe in, and God meets them at the door, and God says, didn't you attack one of my buildings?
I got it all here on camera.
You that egged the house of the Lord? Get the fuck out of my face. That's what's going to happen to you God-fearing people.
Yes.
You dumbasses. You're going to hell.
Yes, and the Lord Jesus God, whatever Buddha, whatever you call him, he curses, just like Bonnie did.
You motherfuckers.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into the big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jason Nunez, and let's queer up the USA view. Bi plus people are queer enough, and it's time they took the spotlight. In the heart of today's LGBTQ plus community lies a paradox. The largest subgroup is almost the most invisible. According to a 2024 Pew Research study, bisexual adults make up 4% of the United States population, more than those identifying as gay, lesbian, or trans, all combined. Yet, bi plus people remain the silent majority, often left out of queer spaces and conversations. In an article written for The Advocate, Sam Perry, a bisexual, gender nonconforming editor based in Chicago, says, quote, bisexuals need to reconsider the lackluster approach to community building and political organizing. Now is the time for bisexuals, pansexuals, omnisexuals, and others with fluid identities to support the broader queer community and help ourselves. End quote. The numbers are staggering. 26% of bisexuals aren't out to anyone. Only 19% are out to most people in their lives. Many are isolated, navigating a world where even LGBTQ spaces can feel unwelcoming. But invisibility can no longer be an option. With threats looming from anti-LGBTQ legislation to a tech bro surveillance state, the queer community can't afford for half of itself to sit this one out. Perry says, quote, bisexuals is queer enough, end quote, urging bi plus people to reconnect, mobilize, and fight back. Perry also reminds us, quote, the bisexual flag as we know it descends directly from queer resistance to fascism and hate, end quote. Perry argues that now is a time to honor that legacy and show up for each other. You know, this is interesting to me as a recent gay within the last decade. I had to learn LGBTQ plus and what all of that meant. And one of the things that truly saved my life as I transitioned out of the military and that structure was a pride event. And at that pride event, I saw all sorts of flags. And, you know, here are the lesbians, here are the trans, here are the bears, here are the twinks. What do the colors mean? What does all of that mean? They are all part of our community. And while we have an LGBT inclusive space, Wilton Manors is one of the very lasting queer meccas, if you would, in the country. And we should be very proud of that for our local community. We need to create a safe space for all of our community. LGBTQ plus, all of them. And for me, I'm proud to say the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce and the LGBT Visitor Center in Wilton Manors is a safe space. There are many other safe spaces within Fort Lauderdale, but we need to honor and respect all of them. And for my bi plus brothers, sisters, and community, you are here. Echoing Miss Bonnie over here. We will stand beside you, we will stand behind you, and we are all here for you, and we are the safe space.
Right. It's so interesting. I mean, they're right in the middle of our acronym. They're said all the time, but they are the least really talked about, right? And I think because you lose some of the oomph about the B, because many of us like went into the shallow part of the pool when we first came out and we're like, oh, let's come out as bi, right? To be safe. And then we were like, oh my God, I am a big dyke, right? But, you know, or like, wow, you know, we all said that, right? And I think because of that, it loses its strength in some way, and it should not, by no means at all, okay? Like Jason said, we need to make a safe space for everyone, whatever it is, you know? Bi, fluid, pan, they do exist, you know? The thing is that I think that many bisexual people don't speak up as much, right? And maybe because they don't feel that most of the stuff is directed to them, right? So I get that, you know? I made the mistake of telling my mom that I was bi when I first came out, right? And I call it a mistake because that gave her hope for the rest of her life.
Yes.
Even I've been married for 8 years.
Which is really an unfortunate thing.
And she still has hope for that part of being bi. Not that I loved both or that both could make me fall in love with them, right? I fell in love with a woman. But it's harder to explain to people that for a long period of time I dated both equally and everything was fine.
Yeah, I think also within our community, you know, we think of our bi plus part of the community as selfish because they want both. and they want all the lesbians, they want all the gays, and they just want to be bi plus and they want it all. But that is still a member of our community, regardless of where you choose, what you choose, how many you choose.
Yep.
Pansexual, omnisexual. There's so many members of our community, and the important thing is that we treat everyone with dignity and respect where they're at. Right. It's not our lives, it's not our choice, it's not our identity. It's
and that
theirs.
they feel safe. That's it. Like we do for the other letters in the acronym.
Also, gay men are selfish. We more selfish than the bisexuals. We use bisexuality to come out the closet, because I definitely was a bi now, gay later as well to a friend of mine in high school. When she found my Twitter at the time, and she was like, Chad,
I'm sure she found your Twitter.
Yeah, child. She's like, do you like dudes? And I was like, I like both. Look at me now.
Well, I think you touched on something. I'll even
Did I touch on? I'm sorry. Just
no, culturally, let's say, by male, right? Culturally, if they are dating a man at the time, they're like, oh, you're just gay. Or if they're dating a female at the time, they don't talk about having proclivities to also liking men, because it's going to be a backlash. And gay men look at bi men as, oh, you just haven't come out of the closet fully yet, and vice versa for women. So bi people have been put in a very difficult position of not speaking up, because they're going to get hate from both sides. So we do really have to, at this table, we've already said it, let our bi sisters and brothers know that there is a space for you at the table. Let's talk about it. And again, let's educate. Every part of our letter has a story, and every part of our letter needs to educate the other letters. Yep. So if you don't understand bisexuality, pansexuality, all of it, educate yourself and talk to them. Just don't think that they are a gateway to something else.
100%. And that makes me sad. Like when Jason said 26%, like in the closet still, like, wow, that's a lot. I mean, probably a lot of Republicans.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder, and let's queer up gay culture. Gay muscle versus straight muscle. Is there really a difference? A lighthearted debate has emerged online. Is there a difference between gay muscle and straight muscle? Well, according to some online, the answer is absolutely yes. One popular post recently went viral with the observation, quote, "It's very interesting how you can look at a physically fit guy and immediately tell if it's gay muscle or straight muscle." Judging by the flood of replies, many agreed. So what's the difference exactly? Cultural cues and workout preferences might be part of it. Gay men tend to focus on full body aesthetics, often paying extra attention to their lower half. Because let's face it, chicken legs and a Speedo, not cute. A recent survey of gay men seems to back this up. 37% said they prefer a bigger lower body, and 48% love a balanced build with strong thighs and glutes. Compare that to just 20% who favor a huge upper body alone. And while straight guys may flock to the bench press, gay men are often found in yoga, Pilates, or boutique gyms that embrace flexibility, form, and a bit of flair. Some posters suggested support of the theory that, quote, gay muscle comes later in life, often post-adolescence, while straight men inherit muscle from school sports. As one person put it, quote, the straight muscle was grandfathered in. Gay muscle was built from scratch. Of course, gay fitness culture isn't without flaws. Body dysmorphia and steroid use remain significant concerns. But at the end of the day, thick thighs do attract the eyes, and nobody struts quite like the gays. Now, I think I'm an expert in this because I am gay, and that's it. No, I'm kidding. I have a bachelor's in physical education. So here is my point. Hold on. Here is my point of view. So, it is true. When you scroll down Instagram, you can tell the straight, the gay baiter, and the gay. Because, first of all, it's the way they take the photos. Straight men don't like looking good in photos in their face for some reason. They like looking like, they love terrible lighting. I don't know what it is about straight guys. They love awful lighting.
Terrible.
Gay guys, they want the light here. They want that shit right here, everything well lit. But yeah, you definitely can tell when you're at the gym, if they're wearing baggy shorts that cover up their legs, straight dude probably, because they don't have the legs to balance everything out. Gay dudes, the ones that I work out with, we want the big breasts, the big ass, which you can get at the Bodybuilder Bootycamp. Hello, April 27th. And they want also the calves, everything like to just like balance out just like that. So when they're bent over on all fours, it looks like the number 8, basically, right? What y'all think?
I'm learning a lot right now.
I mean,
Thank
I was going to say, I usually tell the gays from what they're wearing at the gym, but there is something to be said about, the straight guys skipping leg day, and they, I remember growing up in Texas and being in sports and all the straight boys working out and being ripped in 9th grade. And, I'm sitting in the corner 150 pounds wet if I was lucky.
Yeah, I bet you were wet.
Wishing that I was with the straight boys. And the gays do tend to be a little more rounded with their physical fitness. I take HIIT class and Pilates and all that myself, so I'm one of those cliches. So
I was gonna disagree with Bonnie, or saying that there was, you were like, well, there is a big difference, right? And now I'm actually gonna take what you said, and I'm like super informed now, because you're right. It's the face, it's the lighting. The gay boys make sure that the lighting is on point throughout. The straight is just the body.
I think it's a little different though too. Like if you're looking on IG or TikTok or whatever, and the young guys, like the ones who are like really fresh meat, they're like freshly legal. They know that the gay, because they want the followers.
The gay baiting, yes.
The gay baiting for real is the thing, and they know the lighting bit. They know the lighting, they know the angles, they know to show the armpits. Hello,
hello,
all that, So it's a whole thing. I think that, but there is a certain population. The lighting, no, it's bad.
So real question: if I go to the bodybuilder booty camp, am I gonna? And I take a selfie.
Yeah.
Are you gonna help me make sure it's a gay body, or is, like?
First of all, hard nipples. Rule number 1.
Got it.
Secondly, booty shorts, ass cheeks out the bottom of the shorts.
Got it.
Thirdly, bring your man. And fourthly, pay admission, $25. I will see you there April 27th. But yes, I will make sure everybody looks good and everybody gets a fatter ass by the time summer comes around.
And
Ain't no more flat backs coming around in South Florida in my vicinity. If you got a flat back, get thee away from me.
Yes.
I'm getting you a butt this summer.
What? Time for gay booty butts with
right.
Bonnie Builder. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dale Stine, and let's queer up gay culture. Are gay bars still our safe spaces? It's a question echoing across queer communities, especially as acceptance broadens and the lines between straight and queer spaces begin to blur. As reported by the advocate David Wallace, a professor of English at Long Beach State University, reflects on his first gay bar experience at the Blazing Saddle in Des Moines, Iowa, back in 1997. Quote, I had no idea when I entered the Blazing Saddle that I was not just entering my first gay bar. I was discovering the fraught history of gay bars at a relatively safe time, end quote. His experience, like many others, was tinged with a sense of liberation. Here, touching another man or receiving a compliment wasn't criminal. Wallace writes, quote, for the first time in my life, I was in a place where it was safe for a man to hit on me, and I liked it, end quote. But fast forward to 2025 and the vibe has shifted. Increased queer acceptance has opened up more public spaces to LGBTQ plus people, yet paradoxically, it's created a dilemma. Do gay bars still matter? Wallace recounts ringing in the new year in West Hollywood with young newcomers, one of whom was just turning 21. Their joy at finally entering queer spaces reminds us someone new is always coming out. He draws from the book Gay Bar, Why We Went Out by Jeremy Atherton Lynn, detailing how bars once relied on hidden entrances and no windows due to laws against serving homosexuals. These spaces were survival zones, not just nightlife destinations. Today, that history risks erasure. Wallace notes the frustration of straight women flocking to WeHo's The Abbey, celebrating their secondary gayness while overlooking the decades of trauma tied to queer spaces. He says, quote, the popularity of RuPaul's Drag Race fills gay bars with mixed crowds, crashing the men's room. We still need gay bars as safe spaces for the newly out and as oases from the daily press of heteronormativity, end quote. As queer culture becomes mainstream, Wallace urges us to guard these spaces not just for what they are today, but for what they've carried us through. What do you think? Well, what I think is this. It kind of makes me think of another story we talked about some time ago, not too long ago, about intergenerationality. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is.
Because, when I came out back in back in the dark ages, bars were where we went. I mean, that's where you went all the time, to pick up people, to meet people, just to be free to be me, because even though I was in theater and music, there were a lot of gay people in my world, just in general life around, that's where you needed to go.
Yeah.
And that went on for decades and decades and decades. It's where you went to meet a hookup, to meet a man for, you want to get married, whatever. So I think it has changed a lot, of course. But there's something that makes me feel that even though they're more mixed, like with more straight people, more the girls, more this, I think that's just an evolution of that I think is important. And I'm here for it. I think it's great. And I think that people coming back to watch RuPaul, to do karaoke, which we know I hate, to do whatever it is, I think that's bringing people back into the bars more than happened with, say, maybe like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's good.
I don't think we'll never not need our gay bars, right? I mean, I remember going into Limelight in New York for the first time, right? And going, wow, I'm so queer, or going to Stonewall, right? In Chelsea, or going to Warsaw on South Beach, right? And going, wow, I'm really gay and this is a very safe space, and not feeling that way anywhere else, right? Now, fast forward, here we are in 2025, and there are a lot other spaces. There are a lot more people that don't drink anymore. There's a lot more people that don't do drugs anymore. There's a lot of people that don't feel all that comfortable at bars and clubs, but there's so much more now offered to our community, right? I went to a great mixer yesterday thrown by the Chamber, right? By, the Jason Nunez throne. People are going to more events like that. People are going to, nonprofits are doing fellowships and workshops, right? For people to see other people and relate and tell their stories and share their stories with others. So I don't think that we'll ever lose that need for a gay bar, because it's always going to be our social place. It's always going to be our go-to, pretty brand new gays and older gays and everybody in between. I do agree with the story about some gay places we've made more open to straight people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the Abbey in WeHo, our house is an iconic
it's really
place
like
for
a
us,
bar,
but it's 99% straight people in
Palace,
there,
Palace on the beach,
Palace on the beach, predominantly gay.
Aquaplex.
All the entertainers are gay. Everybody there is gay. And as a gay person, you're still welcome there with open arms, but predominantly straight place where people can go and, be who they are.
One thing this story did not address, and it's a different topic, is look at all the lesbian bars that have closed, how few there are in the country right now. So it's just another component of the story.
Yeah. Well, and we did a story on, today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. We did a story, I don't know what day it is. Today, we did a story on Monday that 13 more lesbian bars are opening up by the end of this year.
That's amazing.
And they're mostly sports bars, okay? I don't like sports, but I would go to a sports bar where there was lesbians in it.
Yeah,
pretend, touchdown, pretend.
I've had this conversation with actually a lot of bar owners and GMs asking, why don't we have young people in our bars? And I think this is a double-edged sword. We have fought for inclusion. We fought for the right to be included in other spaces and be seen. And so the younger generation has benefited from that. They don't have to go to a gay bar. I remember in the 90s when I stumbled upon my first gay bar and walked in and go, oh, I'm home. This is what I've been looking for. A lot of the younger generation hasn't needed to do that.
Right.
However, again, we keep talking about our history and places. Inclusion is getting eradicated as we see it right now. So these gay bars are going to be the fallback, and it's going to rally our community back together. However, that double-edged sword I talked about, we've said, okay, we want to be included in your spaces, and we now need to include you in our spaces. So it's an interesting conversation, and bars and general managers and owners right now are grappling with it. How do we get these younger people in? How do we get people in to keep our doors open so that we don't close and get erased? So the older generation needs to rally. The younger generation needs to come and see what's cool and new there, and and come together as a community.
As a drag queen hostess for specifically the gay bar down in South Beach at the Gathering, I host events there Wednesdays and Fridays. I appreciate the patrons who make it their second home. When I host trivia there on Wednesday, there's this team called us Divas, shouting them out. They are a team made up of I'm going to say seniors of 50, 60, 70, and they are there every Wednesday.
I love it.
Basically winning trivia. And it's men, gay men, straight women who are now widowed, just coming together. This is their clubhouse, their safe space. And that's what the gay spaces will continue to be as long as you guys all come out and be a patron to them. So we appreciate you going to the bigger events, the prides, the concerts, and being on social media and being queer on social media. You also got to come to the bars, the spaces that are just around you. Make sure you give them your money so that we stay around. And as the drag queen hostess, I just want to say thank you to all that already come to those spaces and give it your money. And you treat it like it's seeing family. Like you go and you hang out there. You bring your friends there. You bring in more people to spend their money there. I thank you so much for doing that because it keeps me employed, so I can buy more wigs. And it also allows me to grow in the arena of drag. So just selfishly, I'm going to say thank you to all who continue to go to these gay bars.
Love you, Bonnie.
I love you.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida. Yummy.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza. Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share these news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
That's right, Dale. And I'm your lead anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat? And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Rex Rogosch, Jason Nunez, Bobby. You like
Bobby
that?
Brown.
Bobby Builder, and Dale Stine. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and being queer. Good night.